So the next thing I want to cover really quick is the ability to type in vertical text. And by that I mean text that just kind of runs from top to bottom, like it's almost like the letters are stacked on top of each other. And to do that, there's really two ways to get to it. One is that you can click and hold on the text tool, and you can choose this option here where it says vertical type tool. And what I'm going to do is just move up here into my area because we want the word venue to drop here. The client has this old warehouse downtown, and out front of it is actually a sign that says venue, and it's written in this vertical typeface. And it's also in a very specific font. It's in a slab serif, and so we're going to look at that really quick. But to enter it in, what I like to do generally is just sort of click and start entering in the text, and then I'll play with it afterward. So I'm going to just type in venue. And we can see that it's sort of off my screen. I can use my trick of just holding Control or Command, and that lets me sort of drag it around. And remember that I can also resize it. And if I hold Shift at the same time I'm doing Control, that will keep me from stretching it too far out of proportion. So I'm just going to get it kind of big, the size that I need it. And then I'm going to let go of the mouse and let go of the keys. And, you know, that's about the right size. But I did want to show you the other way to swap. Once the text is already active, you can actually swap between vertical and horizontal text by using this tool right here. See, as I click it, it's just kind of moving back and forth between vertical and horizontal text. But in this particular case, we want this vertical text, but we need to change it to a slab serif typeface. And a slab serif is a serif typeface where the serifs are really fat. And if all of these terms are sort of strange to you, it'll become really clear in chapter 9 when we go over all of it in detail. But just to give you a quick example, this is a serifed font. You see it's got these little finishing marks at the end of the E. You get this little drop down. And at the top of the N here, you get this little horizontal mark. A sans serif font, like this, does not have those finishing marks. So whenever you see those little finishing marks, that's called a serifed font. And serif is actually the name of those little sort of feet at the ends of the letters. But a slab serif is a serif that's really thick and blocky. And so we're going to look for a font. And I'm just sort of scrolling down with the mouse here. I'm looking for a really fat slab serif. Just like this. Okay, so this is Rockwell, which is one that I have on my machine. Feel free to explore your own. And what we're looking for is a font with this kind of style, where you see how the serifs are super big and blocky. That's called a slab serif. And it conveys a really cool feel. It's kind of like really tough and heavy, and it definitely feels a little bit retro. And I'm just going to kind of tweak this text a little bit. I'm holding Control again to sort of stretch it up a little bit. And I'm also letting it stretch wide and things just to sort of play with the way that it looks and feels here on my flyer. And once I get it where I want, it looks like the text is going to be white. That's what I want. And it looks pretty good. So I'm going to click my commit button. And there we go. We've got our vertical text in there. And I can see that it's a little bit difficult to see that E in the bottom of that U there. We'll talk about that in just a second. But before that, I have a level up challenge. In the last few videos, we've talked an awful lot about the way that design decisions are made. There's a big difference between using a tool and using it well. One of them makes you a button pusher, and the other is becoming a designer. And so we're going to talk in the next video, when you get stuck and you're kind of having a hard time coming up with creative ideas, or even looking at your design and seeing what needs to happen next, we've got a level up challenge that'll give you some tips and tricks on how to sort of jog that creative mind of yours and how to do really good research that will help inspire you.